a game we saw yesterday in the North London derby. Of course, 3-0 up in the end. It finishes 3-2. Arteta talking about the prayers towards the end of the game. Divine intervention or not. Arsenal with a big 3 points, a big statement. Mario, this was great fun. What a great game to watch.
It was a great game, but I think that the papers highlighted it a little bit more because I don't think Spurs was that bad the first half. Because the first half, it made it look, okay, they dropped off and they were maybe keeping it compact because we know how Arsenal plays. But then, okay, then you see that like in the beginning, okay, then Arsenal start kicking off, they start scoring the goals of scores. But Spurs, I don't think the scoreline was worse than the way they were performing. And I think that is what hurt them. And I think halftime probably Postecoglou must have got into them and said like, hey guys, you got to change now. And I felt like in the first couple of minutes when they started the second half, it was a little bit more intensity in them. And then of course they got back into the game and to the final, how they got back in the game, you know, like they could have, like even in the beginning when we talk about the penalty, like in the beginning, that was a crucial moment for me. When the game kicked off, they could have picked up something. But just in general, I felt like Spurs had to be way more clever and should not allow those 3 goals to go that quick into them because they went too quick to finish the game off.
Postecoglou was so down, wasn't he?
Yeah, but his comments were interesting in a sense that he almost played down Arsenal's proficiency from set pieces and Tottenham's own deficiency. It was it kind of was a throwaway comment. Keeper, what do you want? Do you want somebody to block Ben White? Do you want somebody to stand in between? What do you want? Because this guy is going to come and he's going to try and make himself a problem, right? That's the first thing I got to solve, and then the rest of it goes from there. It always seemed to me that Postecoglou said, listen, we're working on other stuff. I don't have to. And, you know, he's had a lot of praise this year from me on this programme for the way they've played. And I think rightly so. But it was a kind of throwaway yesterday to say, nah, we're not. We're concentrating on other things. When Arsenal, one of the strong points of their many strong points has been that area, and they got caught out again 2 times.
What would you want, Shaq, in that situation, as Craig says?
I'd want to play on
Ben White.
On Ben White.
Blocking and almost fouling him.
The thing for me is, we've seen this before with Spurs against Manchester City. We've had exactly the same conversation. So to Craig's point, and I agree. I've loved everything from Postecoglou all season long. I really appreciate what he's building and how he's going about his business. But surely you could walk and chew gum at the same time. Surely you could build a team to play out from the back and a high press and still work on set pieces at the same time. You don't have to leave that till next season when you get all the other bits right. And this is a simple fix. This is, if there's somebody around the goalkeeper, I want you pick somebody to go and don't let him interfere with our goalkeeper. And now, and let's be honest, Vicario isn't the strongest physically.
No.
So it's not a Peter Schmeichel or somebody who could handle themselves in the box in that way. So you want to give him some help. But you got burnt with it a few weeks ago. You know exactly who Arsenal are. You get burnt with it again. And I don't understand the position that, well, you know, we'll concede those goals because we haven't worked on that just yet. That don't make sense.
I was looking forward to you talking about yourself in the third person.
I know.
I thought you were going to say
Peter Schmeichel,
like a Hislop.
Yeah, no. Oh. Casey would.
You know the interesting thing, before we go married, the ridiculed position that we all sort of laugh at some. I'm presuming Tottenham don't have one, a set piece coach. Because if a manager's saying, and I've never heard, I'm too busy doing this.
No, they let him go after Conte, apparently. When Conte left, he left.
And the set-piece coach will never be ridiculed again.
There we go.
On this show.
Mario, defensively, how do you handle that?
No, how you handle it? I think as a goalkeeper, I think you kind of want the player then either be in the goal and then the other player is then next to him. It's the only solution. Or you stand in front of him so he cannot get in front of him. The key thing is also what they're talking about. Postecoglou must know where Arteta comes from. Arteta comes from a team like Everton. His history of Everton, you know, regardless of what he did at Pep Guardiola, you understand the football side. But at Everton was focusing on that. a lot. So he should know that before the game, like, look, I'm playing against somebody that is going to know how to handle corners because his old team was playing like that. And he probably won't surprise me if Arteta was taking the corners at that time because he was a technical player. So for that to happen, now you have to handle it. And what you guys have said, Ben White is his job. And I did that job myself. So I know how it feels. What you do is you make sure that you either stand behind the goalkeeper and wait till he moves. When the ball gets kicked, you're just standing next to him, so he cannot go anywhere. That's the only job you have to do. So you make sure he cannot go out. And for him then, for that to, of course he came out and said like, oh guys, I don't think you guys should worry about corners so much. Yeah, but that was more a protection. I didn't feel like that was kind of one of the things. I'm sure he's going to work on it now because it cannot happen again. Come on now.
What would the producer do? I mean, he's a long-suffering Tottenham fan. What is he?
I don't care. I don't care what you do.
He said he's got enough on his plate.
Mario,
he's gone silent.
Mario, you mentioned it before. Of course, a big call in this game was just before the Saka goal was the chance of a penalty. Did you think it was a penalty?
On his left foot, I don't think, like as a player, he's a lefty. He would have struck the ball for sure if he could have. And now he couldn't, so he had to drop it off. So no, I will give the penalty. You saw what happened afterwards. The counter-attack, okay, David was smart for letting Saka go to his strong foot by going inside. But away from that, this is the advantage for Arsenal. So I think the referee should have called on that.
What do you think? You weren't here yesterday.
Was you here?
I was.
He was here.
I didn't think it was a penalty.
No, and the more I see it, the more I could be convinced. But I'm not easily convinced.
Right.
I don't think there's I just don't, and I felt it at the time. And I know they kept going back to it and on the commentary. And I think they were almost trying to convince themselves. I just don't think there's enough there for me from Leandro Trossard. There's no attempt whatsoever to infringe on Kulusevski. And I don't deny there's a little bit of contact there. Right? But I was happy with that. As controversial as it was, I was okay with that decision staying as it was because I don't think it was egregious whatsoever, and I'm okay with it.
Let's take a look then at
but
what that result means.
But then, one second. I have a question. If he would have clipped him in the middle of the park, would we have called the foul? Or would we said play on? I think we would have called the foul too. We would have called the foul because he clipped him. If he touches him, we would have called the foul. Maybe the penalty is more sensitive of where it is. But I think if this would have happened in the middle of the park, I think we would have called for the foul. Definitely, if it was my team and he would have done it against me, I would have called it by 100% that he touched him.
I'm not sure I would have called it for as a foul in the middle of the park. I will say, though, that had Michael Oliver given it, I don't think VAR...
No, I don't think it's overturning it, is it?
I think whatever the call on the pitch stands.
OK, that's enough of that. Let's talk about the title race then, shall we? Arsenal's 3 points means that they remain top of the table. Manchester City, though, have that key game in hand. Hence, they are still favourites with 4 games to go. Didn't look too convincing against Nottingham Forest. Of course, as Chris Wood took those chances, we could be having a very different conversation. The 3 matches left for Arsenal: Bournemouth, Old Trafford, and then Everton. For City, home against Wolves, then it's away against Fulham, away against Spurs, and home against West Ham. Every Monday I ask you the same thing, Mario. Who's winning it?
The beginning of the season, I had City on it, and then I had to change to Liverpool, but they let me down. I don't know why. So I'm still here. I mean, I have to hold on to what I started at the beginning of the season then. I have to make it City, guys.
Why are you so upset? Huh? Why Mario seems sad.
Yeah, don't be sad, Mario. It's all right.
Hey, you know why? Because they tricking me, man. They tricking me. Everybody's tricking me this season. I don't know why they're tricking me. Just keep it simple. Just win games. Make it easy.
I think let's wind up Mario.
I don't feel bad about being wrong, Mario. It's a trait on
Just
this
never
show.
admit it.
Yeah, just
never admit that you're wrong.
Like who?
Are you suggesting I would
Not just on this show, just in life.
No, I'm not having that, Your Honour. Not guilty. Looking at that, and I know I've been strong in Arsenal all season.
Yes, you have.
Looking at that, it's just saying to me, cannot see, even though they've got the Tottenham game at Tottenham, it's hard to see City with a bit between their teeth. Even though I don't think they're playing as well, they've got the sniff of, if we win out, it's ours. And that is big carrot to be dangled. So yeah, at the moment it's looking like just because it's in their hands, I'm going for City.
Who you want me to jinx this week?
I know, Shaq.
Yeah. Well, what did you do?
Picked Liverpool a couple of weeks back, and I'm just saying, it's all gone
What
downhill.
game was that?
Arsenal,
which could cost them the title.
Listen, I'm with Craig in that it's City's to lose, and while City haven't been playing well for quite some time, Phil, they've now gone 19 without a loss. It just speaks to who they are this time of the season. And even when they aren't playing well, they somehow just manage to get over the line. I think that's what they do again with these four. But goodness me, I thought the performance against Forest was anything but that of a title winner.